Hi everybody, I hope you're well and ready for our first lesson on modal verbs. We're going to talk about the past and present forms as well as the meaning or the functions of may, might, can, and could. Now, a few key features before we get to the more advanced stuff. We know that modal verbs add meaning to a main one. So it might rain today, might attaches to rain in order to communicate that it's not very likely for rain to occur today. And as you can notice, they don't take a final S in the present for the he, she, it persons. So this means that we keep it simple with modal verbs, and that's very, very good news. Also good news is that they don't need an extra auxiliary in order to create interrogative or negative forms. So it's can we talk, there's no do, did, have, or what have you, and you can be serious. Once again, there's no additional auxiliary. So we kind of keep it very simple. But now, let's talk about the juicier stuff, which is the functions, the meaning. I'm going to give you 3 sentences, all of them including might. I'm going to also give you 3 functions that might serves in each of these 3 sentences. Take your time. You can pause in order to decide what function goes with each sentence, because now I'm going to give you the answers. Might I make a suggestion is a very polite way of asking for permission. It might rain today shows slight possibility, so I'm kind of 20%, 30% sure that it's going to rain today. In fact, I'm not very sure at all. It doesn't look like it, you know? You might have told me you weren't coming. We waited in vain. We waited for nothing. This is criticism. And you can replace might with you could have told me or you should have told me in this case. So if we look at the form, very simple. As I said, with modal verbs, we keep it simple. It's might, the modal, plus the infinitive, or you can call it the base form, if you will. Might make, might rain, same thing. The past form, though, it's the modal might plus have, which is invariable, and the past participle, might have told me. Okay, let's move on to may. Only 2 examples here and only 2 functions. Take your time to think about it, pause, and here are the answers. I think it's crystal clear. May I use your phone is asking for permission, and it may rain today. You can see it's sunny, but there are a couple of dark clouds in the distance. So it's kind of 50-50 as we move through the day. It's a possibility about the present and slightly going into the near future. So the form remains the same, may plus infinitive, but the past, let's create the past. It may have happened. I'm not saying it didn't, but I'm not entirely convinced. Clearly, we can't ask for permission in the past, so this is going to be possibility. Once again, I make an assumption about something that I'm torn. I don't know if it happened or it didn't. So it's kind of, again, a 50-50% chance. All right. Now, as we look at can, here are the 3 sentences, different functions in each one, and you decide which function goes with which sentence. Pause if you want to, because here are the answers. Can I ask you something? That's permission. I've noticed you can play the guitar really well, ability, and pollution can lead to massive habitat destruction. That is a possibility. It's an assumption that we're making, but we can't be sure. And once again, we can also use may here. Pollution may lead to massive habitat destruction. Once again, a possibility. The form, as you can see, remains the same, but about the past, I need to talk to you about that because I'm going to give you 2 examples of can in the past, and you'll see how different the forms can be. He could play the guitar remarkably well when he was a child, and we see how can turns into could plus infinitive. Or we were able to surprise my brother by organizing a party to celebrate his going away to college, which turns can into was or were able to plus infinitive. The reason? Different functions, different meanings. While in the first sentence we talk about a general ability that I could repeat, it's kind of like a habit. In the second one, we talk about a single event, an unrepeated ability, something remarkable. You don't get to surprise people every day, you know. Now, since we've reached could, let me give you 3 sentences again and 3 functions. Pause if you need to think about them, and it's absolutely normal for you to do so, but now I'm going to show you the answers. So could we ask you a few questions? politely asking for permission. It could rain today. It's sunny now, but there's a couple of dark clouds in the distance. Once again, possibility. Yes, you can use may instead of could there as well. And where's Tim? He could have forgotten that we were meeting today. I'll give him a call. So it's a possibility. I'm assuming that he's not here because he had forgotten. But then again, I can't be sure. All right, so the present structure remains the same and could have forgotten. Once again, modal plus have plus past participle. No surprises here. On the other hand, I'd like you to compare two examples which have the same form in the past, but they mean very different things. When you say, I could have stayed and danced all night, but I had an early flight to catch, basically you had the ability to stay, but you had a different thing to do in the morning, so that's why you left early. The ability is not under question here. It's just unfulfilled. On the other hand, when we say, he could have forgotten that we were meeting today, I'll give him a call, then that's when we're making an assumption. That's when we're talking about the possibility that Tim forgot about our meeting. Okay, so we've reached the final part where we'll compare the two negatives, their meanings, both in the present and in the past. So please remember that cannot is spelled in one word, even if it seems strange. When you say I can't swim that far, basically you're referring to a lack of ability, the opposite of what can expresses. It's an ability that is generally available in the present. Now, I wasn't able to swim that far versus as a child I couldn't swim well. You remember poses a bit of a difference. It is lack of ability. It is in the past for both of them, but I wasn't able to swim that far refers to a single event. Couldn't swim well means that that was a general feature of mine when I was a child. Okay, and here's the interesting part. They can have been at home. The lights were out. Picture this. We're driving past their home and we see no lights on. So we deduce that they're not there. They can't be there, right? So this means that we call it a logical deduction. We think there's no chance of being there, but we can't be 100% certain. Same with the Egyptians. They couldn't have possibly built the pyramids without advanced knowledge of mathematics and architecture. A logical deduction about the past. So this was it. I hope you enjoyed the lesson. There's going to be another one on modal verbs. Don't forget to comment if you have questions or suggestions for me. Subscribe and click the bell in order to keep in touch. See you soon.